Hello, everyone. We're here.
Hi.
And we're here with a special guest, Kendall, aka A Knight of Ice and Fire. Would you like to? Well, I just told people where they can find you, but would you like to repeat where the people can find you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of at Night Eye Supply on Twitter. I mean, it takes memes on Twitter, and just honored to be here on Best After Show for House of Dragon there is. So,
Hey. He said the best.
Best.
Facts only.
Mr. Krabs, we were number one. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
All right.
Speaking of number one, you guys, where do y'all rank the episode? We want to hear you guys in the chat. How are you guys feeling about this episode? Because
Yeah, chat, rank it, drop your numbers.
I think we're a little, I say, not really mixed, but more on the positive side, maybe. Kendall, since you're our guest here, what would you rate the episode, at least for now?
I rated it 8.5. Step up from last week. A lot of things I liked. I liked Musaria's whole plot. I think the blacks really needed some propaganda going, so I thought that was really, really smart. I like that a lot. It seems like they are finally trying to wrap up Daemon's plot, so that'd be nice to hurry up and finish that. I feel like they could knock that out in 2 or 3 episodes. But overall, I think it's pretty decent. We'll see where it goes.
Agreed. I was going to say my rating, I'd probably give it. I'm also probably in the 8 range for this episode. There was a lot I liked about it. However, there's one big egregious thing that I know you guys know we're going to be talking about. I'd say I'm probably in the maybe like 8.4. Like 8.4 for right now. A little high.
So I would rate it like a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. Keep in mind,
That's better than last time we talked.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Last week I gave that episode like a 2. I have issues with it that we are definitely going to discuss. But what I'm trying to do from here on out is just separate the books from the show, because basically the show is going to be the show and the books are going to be the books, and they have the potential to tell a great story. And if they do, I'll thank them for it. If not, then we'll go from there.
I like that. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Growing.
Alisha.
I would give I'd say an 8. I almost said 6, but then MJ brought up a good point about separating show from book. So I have no choice. So here we are.
I'm glad you said that. A few people in the chat seem to be within the same range as us. I'll say hi to a few people. We got the movie buff with an 8 out of 10. We have Fernando with a 9. We have I'm going to say this wrong again. Alisha, can you please say it again? I forgot to pronounce it. Waifu? Waifu gave it a 6 out of 10. Ooh, that's a little low.
I believe it's an anime thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta learn these things. We got Kushel
I'm gonna
Walker
be embarrassed
with
if she types and they type in the chat.
Like we're both wrong.
Quinnell Pullen says 7.5.
Not bad. We got Trevor Jones also in the 8 out of 10. What's up, Trevor? We got Jonathan Harvey with a 9. M. Branch with the 8. Kiri's also giving it a solid 8. We got Jackie with a 10. We got MB 7 out of 10. Nick Danger also a 7 out of 10. Mariah 88, another 8. It looks like the 8s are kind of winning out. We got Jackie C with a 9. China Moon with a 3.
It sounds like a wind tunnel. We're in a wind tunnel. What is that?
That was Alicia's AC, I think.
No, she turned it off. I don't know.
That's funny. I gotta stop playing with my buttons. I'm sorry. I keep doing that.
Jen gave it a 6 out of 10. Joshua Hargrave a 7.5. The Stellar a 6.5.
Oh, girl, you going fast. Where are you? Sorry. I was in a different spot.
Oh, my bad. I just
No,
started reading.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. I
Oh.
can't keep up. So it's seeming we're pretty. Oh, I'm way behind. That's why we got Joshua 7.5 out of 10, and we got uh the Stellar 6.5, and we got Raging Butterfly 8.5. So kind of all relatively in the same range. Alisha will be back. She's having that's the wind tunnel you guys are in.
Technical difficulties. She's in
Yes.
the Dragon Mount right now.
Yeah, she is. It's a bit windy down there. Let's just hope she fares better than Sir Darklyn.
Seasmoke is so wrong for that. We have a super chat. We have a super chat from
The
it won't
movie
let
buff.
me. Yeah, the movie buff. The
Valyrian
Valyrian queens are here.
and king
Hey, and
are
king.
here.
Yeah, we have a king with us today. You're used to all girls. We got a knight with us tonight.
Yes. We like to diversify in here sometimes by inviting men.
And we have another super chat from Julian Kane. Thank you for the super chat. 7 out of 10. The spies really were the MVPs here, other than the Halls. Masaria's propaganda and leveling up ability. Wow. And not creepy Larys being a better dad to Aegon than Viserys ever was. That's some dark energy. I agree with that.
Honestly, Larys gave him such great advice, but what were you about to say? Sorry about cutting you off.
I was just gonna say that Larys has to hope. Like Larys's hope is Aegon, because we've seen how Aemond feels about Larys.
Honestly, I feel like Alicent felt the same way when she's like, "I'm sorry." Like, I'm sorry. 'Cause she's like, I'm sorry because now I just lost my seat and you were my key to my seat because you loved me a little bit more than the boy I thought loved me.
Edric, we're going to talk about Sheep Stealer and Nettles when we get there, but we're not going to start this show off with the negativity.
Yes, we're going to be
There'll be plenty of it when we get there.
All right. And I was like, Alisha already had something to say about another prop, guys. So like
Alicia's already coming for the welders. So
like it's gonna be a lot. As
Lily,
we wait for Alisha.
Sorry. I was gonna say Lily, Aemond did get Clarys. He's not you, Toad. The hand. Send for him. Otto Hightower, yes, please send for him. We need him.
That was like the first time he ever got read by any character in the show.
Yes.
It was delicious. It was so delicious. Kiri, we're gonna ease into the negativity, and what better way of doing that? By starting with a really negative place. Let's go to the Lannister.
So the Golden Tooth. Jason Lannister is such a character.
He gets on my nerves.
He and Tyland could not be any more different.
No.
Jason's like super arrogant, not smart. Yeah. I love that scene in season 1 at Rhaenyra's wedding when she's like, your presence is always such a pleasure, Lord Jason. Like, please leave us alone.
If we have to.
Yeah.
If we have to.
But they're at the Golden Tooth, and the Golden Tooth is basically the entry and exit and vice versa to the Riverlands and the Westerlands. And it's like you're not supposed to. It's like the first stronghold to get into the Westerlands, and like Robb Stark is able to bypass the Golden Tooth because Greywind like shows him a little goat trail, and they go around the Golden Tooth, and that's how he gets into the Westerlands. But yeah,
I wanted to bring up this comment from Fernando. The Lannister theme song had me gasping. I was saying the same thing. I had it in my notes, like that. Like I got. Oof.
Yeah,
so exciting to hear that again. I like when they bring back some of the themes from like Game of Thrones and mix them into House of the Dragon.
Yes,
makes it a little extra special, a little nostalgic.
Yeah, it did give me the chills. I just I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Ramin.
Oh, Ramin.
Jawadi.
Javadi or something. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that too.
He's the goat. Like he really puts I love the Lannister theme, but I love Daemon's theme music. Daemon actually has a separate theme music that you hear when he's trying to run away from Harrenhal. But House of Velaryon's music, their theme is fire. Biggest banger he ever wrote.
And she's back. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Oh, speaking of songs, the intro this week, they added Luke back in the mix, and it looks like we got Meleys and Aegon. Well, Sunfire and
Sunfire.
Meleys, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I didn't have a picture of that one ready for you. But I thought it was interesting because it's like Sunfire, they made like yellowish pink, which, as we know in the books, like Sunfire has like pinkish veins.
Yeah, his membranes are pink.
Yeah. And then baby Meleys.
Alisha, what's your thoughts on Lannisters?
Yeah, how do you feel?
Can't hear you.
Oh, you voluntarily muted yourself.
I want to know why they CGI part of his helmet.
Jason?
That's my only question. This whole scene. And why in God's name do they have a lion? Jason.
Because he's arrogant.
Well, okay, it's on par for his character because he's an idiot. He's a pompous idiot. So I guess it's like you use the Tywin theme, but you're giving us opposite of Tywin, you know?
Yeah.
Like I got whiplash a little bit. Like, yes, Reigns of Castamere. I don't know. It wasn't giving. But I will say in the preview for not preview, the trailers.
Yeah.
Oh. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what you said. I was like, yeah.
Do I have a lag again?
It was a little lag, but it got
better. In the trailers, there is a scene where there's a dude being wrestled down into the mud. And a lot of people speculated that it was, what's his name? Otto. But it looked a lot like, what's his name? Thailand to me. So I think that when he goes to treat with the Triarchy, sorry, I just thought of it because Thailand is his twin. When he goes to treat with the Triarchy, they have themselves a grand old time making an idiot out of him.
I'll enjoy every minute of that. Actually, no, I like Thailand better than Jason. I don't mind Thailand, but I did want to bring up this comment from Dragonfire. If you have to carry a lion, you are no Lord or Lannister. Kendall, how did you feel about the Lannisters?
I had the same two questions, Lucy. Where are you going with the lions and what was going on with the helmet? I didn't understand.
Yeah, the helmet was crazy. Like, but the Lannisters' armor has always 8. Like, I do like the armor. It's always been superior. That's what money can buy you in Westeros. But I did want to bring up, did you guys notice how Lord Lefford is like, yeah, I have all these men for you and I'm ready to join you. And Jason is like, I have more than you. I have double your numbers. And we're going to wait here for Aemond, actually. Like, he was treating it like it was a freestyle battle or something. It was really weird.
Honestly, you could tell it's like a whole nation full of like green knights, like all summer nights. Like no one's like been to war around there. Sorry. The wind tunnel's back. We're back in the Dragon Mount. But I wanted to say, actually, speaking of, let's make our way to King's Landing because I think it's time. I think it's time since, people want to make demands of Aemond Targaryen, and he's not having that. And I just want to say this council scene was really fun because he was like, who on earth does your brother think he is telling me what to do? Like he summons me. I thought that was so cool. I'm not gonna lie. Aemond 8 in the scene.
Yeah. I think Aemond spoke more in this scene than he has in the entire House of the Dragon, like every episode that's been out, this like he spoke more. Like in the Regent scene, he like mastered the art of just looking menacing and saying a few words, but he was like actually spilling tea this episode.
Yeah, I'm with King Hoopa. Aemond was cooking this episode. He really was, and he actually was making a lot of good calls. So he mentioned that about the triarchy. Actually, let's get into the triarchy a bit. So Aemond goes and tells Tywin Lannister, like, hey, make some overtures to the triarchy, essentially just due to proximity to King's Landing to help ease the blockade that Rhaenyra has going on with the Velaryon fleet, which is also causing the food shortages in King's Landing. So he's like, hey, call a triarchy. Everybody else is like, buddy, they are not to be trusted. And as Alisha pointed out, if that is Thailand next week, getting pushed to the ground, then probably have a point.
Yeah, the triarchy are like pirates. They aren't to be trusted, and I feel like I wouldn't necessarily. He doesn't really have an option. Like if he wants to, he's not patient. He's not going to be patient enough to wait for the Red Wine fleet or the Lannister fleet. The Greyjoys are leaving the Texas on scene. They don't want to. They don't want to join the Greens.
Sorry, before you go, when Jasper Wilde said, "Why does the Queen Mother marry Dalton Greyjoy?"
Yeah.
That reminded me a lot of I think Cersei. They wanted Cersei to marry somebody in Dorne, and that reminded me a lot of that theme. Cersei losing power when Tywin finally comes into it, and then all of a sudden it's, you should go marry somebody in Dorne, and she's
they want her to marry Loras.
Oh, Loras, that was it.
Yeah, because they were gonna do like a double wedding, Loras to Cersei and Marjorie to Joffrey, and it's like.
But there's also a quote in the books where I think they're like trying to get Cersei to maybe align herself with the Greyjoys, and she's like, I will not climb in bed with that slimy or that sorry pack of squids. Like, I will not. I'm sorry, Cersei, villain as she is, she was a very interesting character, and it was fun being in her head in those chapters.
Oh, it was. I enjoy Cersei chapters a lot.
But yeah, Aemond does not have the patience to wait for the red wines, and I feel like he doesn't really take into consideration of what the Lords of Westeros will think with him partnering up with basically what the lords would see as savages from Tyrosh, Myr, and Lys, and then like inviting them basically to the shores of Westeros.
Especially when they just had like that whole situation with the stepstones against the triarchy. So it's like we just fought these guys. Like, are you for real?
Yeah. But Daemon, but like it is an easy. It's like low hanging fruit for Aemond because the triarchy have no reason to love Daemon or the Sea Snake.
Yeah. So it's like I get his reasoning there. It's just like, as everybody else said, like you can't trust them like at all.
Yeah.
But we actually have a super chat from Fernando. Thank you, Fernando. Ladies, I'm so worried because with all this talk about triarchy and Pentos, Gullet feels closer. So before we went live, I was behind the scenes going off about how I got that one wrong. I was like, they're going to move the Gullet back. There's no way they're going to, kill both her sons like that,
I thought the same thing.
On my face.
And then I thought the same thing, and I realized, we didn't get that shot of Vale on the dragon screaming in the Bucks wrestling, which I sworn we haven't done. So I think you're right. Gullet might be this season.
So you guys think Gullet happens this season? I don't.
I thought it was going to be next season. I'm at this point, I'm very torn on it. I am very torn on it. But when we get to Dragonstone, I can go into a little bit more why I'm super torn on it.
I'll tell you, this is the 6th episode. This whole season is only 8 episodes. So we would have to get all the dragon seeds to claim their dragons and unify. Who's that baby?
It's
Look
baby.
at Alisha as a baby. We would have, but a lot would have to happen in 2 episodes. I can't see it. I can't see it this season.
I want to be wrong. I want to continue to be right and have it be season 3 and keep my like nice solid record that I got going for me personally. But I don't know. My stomach is feeling real. But yeah, if we don't get the gullet at the end of the like the finale of this season, it's definitely top of season 3. Like top of season 3.
Yeah.
Like I really hope it's season 3. I want to be wrong, but this episode just did so much setup for the gullet that I am just I don't know, a little deflated, I'll be honest. But and other things that happened in this season, in this scene that I wanted to get to is Aemond. So besides
the triarchy. We did the
yeah,
triarchy.
besides the triarchy. He suggests because, you know, they're like, hey, join us with Vhagar because, you know, Caraxes is in the Riverlands and you want us to go to Harrenhal, but Caraxes and we need a dragon. And they're like, Vhagar, because for them, Vhagar is the only one left. Well, sorry, Daemon. Daemon got a mention again with his dragon. That was cool. We'll get to that in a little bit. But essentially, it's just Daemon and Aemond. I like how they count Helena out completely. Like no one even asked Helena. Like Helena, do you might want to help out?
I mean, in their defense, she doesn't seem super interested in doing anything but playing with her crickets in cages. You know?
Yeah, because nobody asks her to hang out.
Her mom asked her to hang out, and look what happened.
Oh yeah, that's probably why she's like, and this is exactly why I don't leave my house.
Sorry, I had to completely. I'm having such hardcore technical difficulties. As usual, I'm doing this from my iPhone, so the audio's not going to be as good. So I apologize. I think it's time to get a new router. I have been avoiding it for years, but here we are. My headphones broke. My router sucks.
It happens.
Nothing's going great. Anyway, no. As I think it's justified that nobody really asks Helena to involve herself because she doesn't really handle chaotic situations well.
Good point. I also just thought of the obvious. It's the Green Council. Of course, they're not going to ask a woman to help out. I mean, look who got fired this week.
Okay.
Let's get into it. I want to talk about it. Let's talk about Mama losing her job. Can we?
Can I feel bad for her this episode? Just completely.
Yeah.
I'm treating her to my sympathy because she had a reflective moment about her sons that she raised turning out the way that they did because of her. And everybody who's been watching knows that's been my big hang up on sympathy for Alicent. And she did it. I'm so proud of her. But,
Her brother was her accountability buddy.
Yeah,
him.
we'll get to him in a bit.
We'll get to him in a bit. I do want to talk a bit about this Aemond and Alicent scene. Actually, Kendall, I want to hear your thoughts on this Aemond and Alicent scene because I might go on for a bit.
I really like this scene. I think to what you said earlier, he's been so quiet until he got there. It reminds me of that line about Otto said about no man lacks patience for ambition, and now that he's there, he's going to talk his stuff. I feel like now that he's in the seat, nobody's going to tell him anything. And even the scene when kind of takes her hand away, I don't know if that was loving take my hand away or all right, get off me now, you're dismissed, take me. I really like the scene though, and it seems like Alicent is finally getting some accountability. Also, I really like that scene where her and Gwen kind of feel like it finally clicked to her. Like, I was thinking the thing, and then she said it. Yeah, my kids are like that because me and one child that isn't by me came up kind. He's gentle. The girls love him. He plays the lute. I love all that.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into that a little bit more because I agree. Because like Alicia's been saying as well, like it's very much, is it nature or is it nurture? Like, is it the environment or is it like maybe or I also have a theory that Darren's gonna have some Alicent colored hair, but I'll talk about that later. But for this little bit right here, one thing I really liked that Alicent said to Aemond was, "Have the indignities of your childhood not been sufficiently avenged?" Because she's obviously calling out the fact that he killed Luke, and she says that while she's touching his scar, which we know Luke gave to him. But then at the same time, Aegon was his tormentor, and she knows he's the one who burnt Aegon. Like I think she figured that out by now. And he's kind of like, I finally got that power. And I know we talked about a little bit that last week, but the parallels between him and Daemon. Aemon is literally everything Otto said Daemon would be is his grandchild. And I feel like this scene here kind of sums it up. Like the way he just so easily dismisses Alicent's counsel, even though, I mean, she has more experience than Kristen Cole when it comes to governing.
Kristen off too.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, can you like go skedaddle to Harrenhal and be useful? Like,
Yeah, like,
I kind of like.
Can you get out of here and stop banging my mom?
As soon as he agreed with Alicent, he's like, seems like you should be at Harrenhal, I guess. He talks like Michael Jackson.
He does. But the moment Kristen opened his mouth, Aemond was like, "Don't you have somewhere to be?"
Yes.
It's catch a chicken syndrome.
Like I get, like you were bullied in your childhood, but this has way more to do with him being bullied in his childhood. Like he actually wants to be the king. He wants it. And it, like she's already said, haven't you avenged the indignities you suffered in your childhood? Yes, they've been avenged. He killed Luke. He maimed Aegon. Like he's killed Rhaenys and Meleys. How much more avenging do you have to burn the whole kingdom to the ground to feel avenged? It's more than that. It's he wants
Yes.
this.
Short answer, yeah.
I mean, this is him. I don't think it's a. Do you remember at the very beginning of the series when they introduced him as an adult? I was like, oh my god, do I not hate Aemond? I've hated Aemond for the better part of a decade. No, he's good old Aemond from the books. I didn't like Aemond this episode. Like I feel like he was kind of a bully in that council. Like I don't know what it is about the Targaryen brothers and bullying Tyland. Like,
yeah,
I don't think Tyland's really bothering anybody, but I will say
he's so over it.
I will say Aemond served, as the kids would say, CUNT when he told off Larys. And he's like, I'm gonna need someone as my new hand. And Larys was like, who, me? And he's like, not you, you toad.
But I think when Daemon is in Harrenhal with Alice Rivers, she tells him those who reach for the crown are the less suited to wear it, and that's why Rhaenyra was named Viserys' heir, even though that's not why Rhaenyra was named Viserys' heir. But the same could be said for Aegon. Like Aegon doesn't reach for the crown, and yes, Aegon is a fool, but Aegon is not cruel. He's not like Aemon, where I feel like if Aegon had a council around him, like a strong hand like Otto, that King's Landing could live on in peace. It, like if Rhaenyra wasn't there. But just saying, Aegon is better than Aemond. And I think we're supposed to take that from this.
I agree, because even like in this scene actually in particular, when Iron Rod is telling Aemond, like, the Smallfolk, they're starving, they're getting hungry, like this blockade, they're blaming us for it. And he's like, well, it's Rhaenyra's blockade, which, hey, you need Otto there for PR. But in regards to that, it's just like he doesn't get it. But Aegon, when dude was like, my sheep. He was like, here's your sheep back. Like
Yeah, like, why can't we just give him sheep? He came all this way.
Yeah, and it's like, don't get me wrong. He is. I'm not going to sit here and act like Aegon is the nicest person in the world because we know Aegon has a long list of crimes. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
sit here and act like that's
he's
not the
the better
case.
choice between Alicent's 2 sons that are right there, and Daemon would be the better choice probably over Aegon.
It's funny you say that. We have a super chat I wanted to bring up from Cam Cobain. The show is really doing a good job of building up Daemon. He reminds me of Rhaegar Targaryen.
I got the exact feeling, like
To
Rhaegar
rip
blueprint
off
with
of
the
that.
loot and everything.
Yep.
To rip
Thank you
off
for the
of
super
that
chat.
a little bit, I remember either last week or a couple of weeks ago, my big complaint about introducing Daemon was it felt like they pulled him out of nowhere. I felt like it was too late. I am going to recant saying that because if he warded to the point that Alicent doesn't even really know who he is, it feels less out of the clear blue sky. Like, I love that conversation as a setup for Daemon instead of him just coming out of nowhere when he hasn't even been mentioned before. So, brava.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. It reminds me of when Danny's asking Sir Barristan about what Rhaegar like, and he takes a minute. Gwen does the same thing. He kind of takes a minute to try and think. More complicated character. I really like that part about it. I think when the character is a little more nuanced and he takes that second to say something about him, it means something. It means there's more to him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Same.
I do
and
think
I like
within that Oh, I'm sorry, Arah, go ahead.
I'll say I like you kind of touched on it earlier, Alisha, how she's the one asking, like, is he good because he wasn't raised by me, where Gwen's kind of like blame it more so on King's Landing not being the healthier place in general. Which, if we're gonna be honest, King's Landing really is not the healthiest of environments to raise kids in. And if you are going to do it in a healthy way, you really need a solid set of people around. Unfortunately, for those kids, you had Kristen Cole. Like, your dad doesn't. Your dad's playing Legos. He doesn't even know you're born. He doesn't even know you're his kids. To be 1,000% honest, he's like, who are these people besides Helena and Alicent? Harwin Strong's cool, but like, y'all don't like him. So like, Damon's never around. Who and Otto? Like, is that who they're gonna learn from? Otto? Like, don't get me wrong. Otto knows his stuff, but like, you know what I mean? It's kind of.
Well, I think it's just I think it's the environment and Alicent and the position that Alicent has been put in. When I say Alicent and the position that she's been put in as an adult, she made her own damn choices. However, the position she was put in from the time that she was a child and had no control didn't help things either. You know, I do think that Gawain was not lying to her when he said, you did the best that you could. I think Alicent is doing the best that she could or that she can. She's just not doing a good job, if that makes sense. I thought it was really interesting when Gawain called Alicent Otto's favorite child. I think that shed a lot of light on the nurture part, like nurture negligence on Otto's part. Like, I think his parenting style, like when that scene a few episodes ago when she says, I have sinned, and he says, I do not wish to hear it, I think that sums it up completely and utterly.
Yeah,
So.
it's very interesting because usually in Westeros, the sons tend to be the favorite, typically speaking. But with Alicent, he could actually leverage Alicent. I mean, he put Alicent as the queen of Westeros and got her kid on a throne. So, like, but actually, it's funny because Tywin did that for Cersei, and Cersei's still not his favorite child.
Well, I don't.
I just thought of that.
At the time that Otto brought Alicent to court, I think he knew there could have been a possibility that, you know, the queen could pass at any moment. I mean, it's the queen. It's not like they had proper C-sections back then. So, when you're the queen and your job is to quote unquote push out heirs in those times, it's like a 50-50, probably a higher likelihood. Like you're not going to survive a pregnancy. Like the fatality rate for women was very high. He probably could foresee like, maybe the queen will kick the bucket at some point. But I think he brought Alicent to court. I think part of it was the possibility that she might be, you know, queen one day or used as a, bargaining chip. And I think the other part of it was for the reason that Gwen said. She's Otto's favorite. I can see it. But I think he sucks as a parent. So
Oh, I agree. I also think because he's mentioned it before how Alicent resembles her mom, and we know obviously he's never like remarried or anything like that. So maybe he just sees like a lot of her and her daughter, or like I don't know.
I think I think Otto missed the opportunity of marrying Gwen to Rhaenyra instead of marrying Alicent to Viserys. Just saying.
Yeah, talk about it actually. Talk about
a
it.
lot less wars could have probably happened. Yeah.
I mean, it would be preferable to Alicent marrying, as Tony always says, the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
If we're speaking visually, but only visually.
Actually, speaking of Alicent lovers and stuff like that, did you notice how her and Kristen Cole, you guys notice how they were making eyes at each other, but they couldn't quite actually like say goodbye in the way they wish they could?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I saw longing. I saw longing in their eyes.
The music helped.
Also,
she gave him a head nod. She gave him a head nod.
Okay, kind of going to a spoiler. I'm not doing the countdown thing. I'm just about to say a spoiler. Okay, anyways, here it comes. Is this the last time they see each other before he dies?
Yes.
I think so.
I think this is the last time in King's Landing physically, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the last time she sees Gwen too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Because they might change it up in the show, but they have the music. I noticed she did not give Kristen her lucky booby handkerchief, so he's done for.
Her favor.
He needs the titty kerchief. We can say titty, right?
I don't know, girl.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard out here.
It's hard out here. It's really hard out here. Okay. I just want we have 2 super chats. I'm going to do them slightly out of order just because one of them's kind of talking about the scene we were just talking about. Thank you, Julian Kane, for the super chat. Again, we have, I think Alicent needed to hear that from Gwen. I do as well. I think it definitely, especially after like, getting kicked off the High Council. Nice little ego boost, I feel like.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you can criticize Alicent for. You have the moments where you are the challenge, but those are things that she was taught. You only learn how to parent from your parents. So I think that's what Otto forced on her. I think that's what she learned. She's probably just coming to terms with that.
1,000% agree, because she's just repeating the same cycles that Otto kind of did with her, especially when they were younger.
They dance on the strings of those who came before them.
I do think Alicent has a kind heart at her core.
Unless it's for bastards.
She doesn't like them.
She has no kindness for them.
I think she just didn't like to see her sons. I mean, okay, like, I'm not defending what she does, but her father absolutely pushed her into the position that he did. I think she does love her kids. She doesn't know how to show it. She wants to see some sort of like fruition out of that. And I think initially it was, Rhaenyra is going to be a good queen, though. She's going to be a good queen. And then in her mind, Rhaenyra betrayed her because she lied to her, or she feels like she lied to her. And so then it was like, I think the bastards kind of remind Alicent that everything she went through was basically for nothing. And I think she resents that. But she doesn't do everything right. I think at her core, she has a good heart. I criticize her a lot, but she's not a cruel person either.
Yeah, even well, we'll get to the mob scene in just a bit, but I did want to bring up this super chat from Fernando. Also, Count Velaryon, I'm going to get to your super chat. Just I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. I have a good spot for it. From Fernando, thank you for the super chat. I love how the quality they both most love about Daemon is his kindness, which isn't a very desired trait in Sons in Westeros.
So
I
I'm
agree.
gonna say I don't want to speak too early about Rhaenyra over in Dragonstone, but I feel like, and I don't think it was written this way, I just see the parallels. Both of them are kind of embodying Cersei a bit, you know, the
Yeah.
not so bad aspects of Cersei. Um, Cersei in I believe season 5, season 6 of Game of Thrones told Jaime that, you know, Myrcella reminded her that she could create something good, that she wasn't completely a monster. So I'm reminded of that. When we talk about Rhaenyra, we can definitely bring up Cersei and Marriage Swamps.
Oh yeah, can't
Yeah.
wait to get into that.
But
All right, since we're still in King's Landing, I did want to get to a couple more little things here before we jump on over to Dragonstone. I want to talk about the brothers. I want to talk about my poor boy and his leg.
it
But
was
before that,
giving The Good Son, Macaulay
like,
Culkin and Elijah Wood.
can I just say the fact that you guys notice Aemond was purposely putting pressure on the wound, right? That wasn't just me.
He's such a
I think
psychopath.
I really think the writers of House of the Dragon have an unhealthy obsession with Stephen King because it was giving misery. It was giving misery, and Harrenhal is giving The Shining. So
I'm not as
yeah,
familiar with Misery.
I'll text you. I'll text
Okay.
you. I'll text you.
Well, I was okay. Now I have to wait. Okay.
So I actually have a question for all of you guys. Just simple yes or no, and you guys can expound after. Do you think Aegon actually truly remembers? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, me too. So, all right. I like how we're all in accord. I was wondering if anybody was going to be different. So we all agree that Aegon definitely remembers and was just more or less scared in this scene.
Right. First thing Aemon says is, "Do you remember?" And Aegon's like, "No, no." What the
No,
What?
I don't remember anything.
I woke up in a
what are you
daze.
talking about? He's like, huh?
I was
Remember?
drunk. I blacked out.
Like, I have
I
no
think the
idea
big
what you're talking
giveaway.
about.
I think the big giveaway that he remembered was when Laris visits him, but we'll get to that part later.
You know what? Let's dive in next. I feel with the Aegon because we're already kind of like 45 minutes in and we still got a lot to get to. So I feel like the Aegon and Aemond scene that kind of, unless anybody had anything else they wanted to talk about specifically with the two of them.
The Maester knows something's up.
Oh, the Maester definitely knows something's up with Aemond. I think he clocked it too. I think the Maester, Alicent, and Laris have all clocked that, like, oh, Kristen Cole too, that Aegon is definitely in danger
Well,
right
okay.
now.
Maester Orwyle is with. It's Orwyle, right? The one that's at King's Landing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Orwyle, he's with Aegon more than anybody else. The only times that Aemond has ever come around that he's seen, the first time, it's not, "Oh, how's my brother doing?" It was literally to stand at the foot of his bed to admire his handiwork. Psychotic freaking behavior. Then when he comes back, Orwyle walks in and Aemond's just pressing against his chest. You know what I mean? And his response too, when he's like, "Oh, your brother's gonna live," and it's just like, "Oh, huzzah!"
What happy news?
Like,
Right?
oh joy. He was so mad. He was so butthurt. So, all right. So Laris goes because after he just got roasted by Aemond, he doesn't take that kindly. Not only that,
Called a toad.
He got called a toad, and not only that, Aegon's showing some toes. Aegon's showing toes. I don't see Aemond showing toes. Aemond's not showing toes. Aegon's showing toes and gives him a seat on the council. And he's like, "Your life's in danger. You want me to do something about it?" Aemond's like, "Mm-hmm." So I'm thinking Larys is definitely going to get Aemond out the house.
Well, okay, so here's my question to y'all, because I really went back and forth, because it's Larys that we're talking about. However, spoilers, I'm not going to count down, because I know, anyway, spoilers. Larys inevitably ends up spiriting Aegon out of the city. Like, Larys helps him through and through. We don't know what his motivations are, but we know in the books that's what Larys does. However, like, there were points during that conversation where I felt like Larys was being, like, backhandedly cruel to him. You know, like, oh, people are going to stare at you forever. You're never going to look normal. You'll be a freak. But then he starts crying. And I've
You thought that was backhandedly cruel? Oh, sorry.
Well, okay, back and forth. I didn't know. There's a part of me that was like, is he being mean on purpose? Like, oh no, these things you'll go through, it's horrible. But then he starts crying. So I'm like, we've never seen him cry when he fakes sympathy. You know, like, what do you guys think? Is he being sincere or an ass?
Before I go, Kendall, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I think he's relating to him with the clubfoot thing. I think he relates to being mimicked, being laughed at a lot, being teased. I think that's probably where some of his family hate comes from. You have to ask yourself, what makes you want to burn down the castle where your father and your brother are in? He brings up maybe Alice was the one who had something to do with it, or that's at least what his father thought. I think he let his mask drop in that moment, and he was being genuine. I think he's still playing the game, but I think it was coming from a real place of being ridiculed. You know, our introduction to him is sitting with the ladies because he can't go hunting with the guys. I think he does relate to them, but he's still playing the game.
I agree with Kendall, actually. That's kind of more or less what I would have said as well. I definitely believe he is coming from a place of sympathy because, especially in this time period, we see it with Tyrion in the main series, kind of like how you're treated when you're not considered like fully able-bodied, if you will, or Bran, how Bran's treated once he loses his ability to walk. It's a very hard adjustment, especially for someone to be the ruler. Like Aegon's is expected to be king, and he can't walk. So that means you can't walk, you can't stand. Like you're gonna, and I don't know if they have. I know like Doran Martell had a little wheelchair going on. I don't know if that's obviously 100+ years in the future in this timeline. Like, what do they do? You know, he's going to have to adjust. People are going to obviously use that as a means of questioning his masculinity because in that time period, your physical prowess was part of that. I mean, it's kind of one of the reasons we get the Blackfire Rebellion down the line is because Daemon's more manly. But like, you know, it's I think it was genuine, truly. Like he knows what it's like. Aegon knows that. Not only that, it gives him more brownie points with Aegon, and Aegon's recovering. So it's
Did you notice Aegon didn't start crying until Larys was like, damn, you're crippled. All you have now is your mind. And Aegon's like, no, I'm an idiot.
I can't even read Velaryon. I can't even talk to my dragon the right way.
I can't read. Not because I'm dyslexic. I've never bothered learning.
You know what I couldn't help but notice was the parallel to Viserys when he tells him, I think he sent away like they were giving him milk with a poppy or something, but I kept saying, you know, your mind is going to be addled. You don't want to dull your senses. I could only think about Viserys in that scene because they look exactly the same.
Do you think he was refusing milk of the poppy because he didn't want to be like his dad?
Like, look at them. Look at them. Twins.
Yeah, that ain't right. Same pillow and everything.
Oh, you didn't change the sheets. Sorry.
I bet they didn't. Well, they washed them.
We're so unserious.
But
I agree with your point.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to need his mind. You need your mind sharp. You can't be taking milk of the poppy all the time because
Well, that's
it's
unfortunate because he's a freaking idiot.
And he's also in pain. Look at him. Poor little boo. I think this might get. I gotta take that off the screen.
Okay, does this dude have eyelashes or not?
Which
Because
one?
I swear they burned off. I swear they burned off last episode, and then
Those
they
are
gave him
stitches.
eyelashes, and
Those
then
are
okay,
stitches.
then they gave him eyelashes, and then he had some crusty crusts over it. I'm very confused
He has
All
a
right.
bad
about the
case of
healing
pink eye.
process.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. A bad case of pink eye. It really does.
But I
Also,
did
I
feel
think
sorry
it's
for
interesting.
Aegon in this scene, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Aegon's visitations, we get one of I didn't have a still of when Alicent went to go visit him, but I liked that scene as well, where Alicent is visiting Aegon because he's still sleeping, and she's like, "I thought you said he was awake." Like, I don't know. I feel for her. This episode definitely, like, after last week where we see her start to lose her power, and it's just gonna just continue getting worse and worse and worse. I'm getting more sympathy for her. Not a lot, a tad. A tad. And seeing your child like that, even if your child is Aegon, like, it's still gonna hurt.
Especially knowing the last thing you said to him, he finally came to you and said, mother, what would you have me do? And she said nothing, and he did the exact opposite of nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see why she feels that.
It's sad. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for him too.
I do too.
They did a really,
I
sorry, they did a really
no,
good
you say.
job of. I mean, the Greens are human. It's just when I read them in the books, it's always like just caricatures of. Yeah, they did a really good job of humanizing the Greens.
That's me twirling
in this
my villain
episode.
mustache.
Yeah, the little mustachio twirling.
Yeah, they're villains.
Yeah, it was with the exception of Aemond. I feel like Aemond is just. I don't think they know what they want to do with his character quite yet. I don't know. They're giving him layers, but this last episode, I feel like being the Prince Regent is too much for him. He's a psychopath.
He really is. Before we get into the last bit of big things at King's Landing, which is the riots and stuff, which I'm very excited to talk about. I did want to get into some super chats real quick. Count Balerion of House Tatters. Thank you. I promised I was going to get to this. Who's better counselor, Massaria or Jace?
Massaria is the better counselor. I actually think it's a mistake to it's a mistake to just tell anyone to come claim a dragon. Because what if they turn on you? Once you have that much power, what happens? So, and I know that was Jace's idea. But I think Massaria has proven her worth. But it's the same thing. All these plots and schemes that they're scheming and plotting are the setup for it to come back around and bite them in their ass. The dragon seeds and the Smallfolk.
Yeah.
Plot line. So I guess they're on equal footing, but Massaria gives her kisses, so she's better.
So what I will say is, like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know how I feel about the food going into King's Landing because on one end, like, okay, so Rhaenyra put up the blockade for that reason, knowing the small folk would turn on Aegon eventually. Aemond was kind of dumb. I don't know. I've never ruled a kingdom, but to me, it's kind of dumb to lock a bunch of hungry people inside. Like, I don't know what purpose that served really, other than like to agitate them even further. Agitation is an understatement. They're starving, but like I feel like that's kind of abusive of Rhaenyra a little bit. Like she's the reason they're starving. Like her blockade is anyway. And then she's like, here's a little food as a treat. No, like, did she not consider the fact that they were going to fight over it the way that they are?
I mean, I think she hoped that they would.
I think that was the whole plan.
I mean, I don't think she was doing them a kindness, and the blockade is there because they usurped the throne. So it's like Aemond on one hand is saying, well, it's Rhaenyra's blockade, and Rhaenyra's like, yeah, well, it's my throne that you took. So I'm not gonna let you get anything into your city. I'm gonna let your city fall to shit. Yes, the small folk are gonna suffer, but I'm gonna send them these magical boats that automatically float to King's Landing and give them food, so they'll love me and be nice to you.
All right. I was thinking the boats. I mean, we're here. We're talking about it. I think we're talking about it. I thought the boats, since they already had the blockade, they kind of looked like they were like lifeboat, not light, like was a skiff.
Like little canoes, kind of
little dinghy. I don't know.
little long boats.
I do not know boats like that, guys. I am so sorry. I'm not a sailor.
But how do they
I don't know my boat?
I think from the blockade, like those extra like boats that you'd have to take to get off the ship, like say you were going to shore because you can't take the big old ship into the shore.
Like the ones that they sneak into King's Landing with the rowboats. Tatiana Blue rowboats.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're just not with it tonight. You know the boats. What kind of boats were they?
We're not Navy SEALs. We're podcasters.
Yes.
We need to be Navy SEALs.
Apparently.
I don't think whoever commented that is a Navy SEAL either. I mean, I could be wrong.
Facts. China Moon says the Targaryen Instacart has arrived.
Literally. Exactly.
Okay, I hated the mechanics of the boat scene. I hated every moment of it. I'm just saying.
I liked sorry I didn't have an actual screenshot of it, but the scene with Sylvie, Aemond's little sugar babe, and Deanna, they're in the bar and they're talking with Ulf, and they're doing that thing where you're like, oh my gosh, I really hope no one's listening to our conversation.
Yeah.
And the person's like right behind them that they want to listen to their conversation. So I thought it was very fitting that they're kind of like the two working together. It also helps because, like, say people, I'm assuming how many, Targaryens with an eye patch are like roaming around. People have probably spotted Aemond coming in at that brothel.
Why do you think she turned on him?
She don't like him. I don't know, money.
Do you think it's because she knows his true nature? Like she knows him really well and she knows he'll be a terrible king?
Oh, he's probably said some wild stuff to her while he was suckling on her. Like,
I think it also has to do with the fact that she's a small folk who's also starving while he's just
merrymaking,
living it up. Yeah.
But he's not really having feasts and balls. They're lying.
Man, who cares? What side are you on?
He's not a feast and ball kind of person. He's a read books with a glass of wine kind of person.
Well, I suppose when it comes down to it, when you are a small folk, what loyalty do you have to, like, it's all about eating at the end of the day. Like, you named the right price. It's not like Aemond is her one true love. Aemond is planet.
The blue clerk makes a good point. He insulted her when Aegon walked in on them. He did.
Oh, he did.
I don't remember. What did he say?
One whore is just as good as another. And your squire's welcome to her.
I'm good with that, my she had to get her lick back. Exactly.
Exactly.
I only watched that scene one more time because there's only so many times I can. No, just
I know
it
you're
wasn't
going with that.
visually doing it for me. So.
And then he walked naked all the way back to King's Landing. I mean, read the Red Keep.
We do have a couple other super chats I did want to get to before we get more into this riot real quick. We have a super chat from China Moon. Thank you. There was a post I saw on X that had the guy that had been cast as Daemon. I might be butchering that. He looks like Crispin Cole. Love you ladies so much.
Love you too,
I think
girl.
Keynote is keynote.
Oh, keynote. That makes more sense. He looks like Crispin Cole.
I don't think he's gonna be Kristen Cole's kid because
Oh wait, they said he's on a dragon already, didn't they?
Yeah.
because
Rolls it out.
so I really don't like when Alicent thought she was pregnant by Crispin Cole, she offed that baby like
Quick.
moon tea to the dome. She don't want no baby by him. She doesn't want no bastard. That's like beneath her. So she
Okay,
would have did
but
the
all
same
the
thing.
same 16, 17 years ago, because I guess they're in 16 in the show, Viserys was still sleeping with her, I believe. If she were sleeping with Kristen and the king, it's like a toss-up right there. There's no way for her to be able to take Moon Tea without him knowing, the king knowing. He's gonna have questions about
Yeah, I had a
why
video on
she's
my. Oh, sorry.
why she's eating the fetus.
I think. Well, I don't think he would have known. He was in a catatonic state half the time. He
Not
really
16 years ago.
16 years ago. That would have been yes. He was still
17 years ago.
he
No,
still
because that'd have been
didn't
like
know.
when Jace and them, like
Yeah,
they runs at Jace's age.
he still didn't really know what was going on, bro. He wasn't like asleep all the time on Milk of the Poppy, but he was. He definitely, he definitely gave that. Have you ever seen a brown horse speech to Alicent during that time?
I forgot about the brown horse speech. Most insignificant, most unremarkable policy.
Yes. But I don't know. I don't think. Come on. I wouldn't like that. Like, even as a person that like likes the blacks. Like that's my side. I like the blacks. I think they're right. I think Rhaenyra is the rightful heir. I think she'd be a great queen. I don't like Crispin Cole is like a hit at Alicent. Crispin Cole having Alicent's bastard just to make her as equal to Rhaenyra. I don't like it. I don't think they need to do that to her character.
So I was gonna say on my channel, I have a video on Dayrun. And one of the things I had suspected was if they possibly made Dayrun's hair more like Alicent's hair, that way it could be more of a questionable paternity where it's like, oh, but where he rides a dragon, it's obvious like, well, clearly Viserys is his dad. So like, if they didn't already say he had his dragon and like he claimed it a little later, I feel like they could have built that up a little bit more. But at this rate, just give us a little blonde boy.
If he does have brown hair, that's probably why he was sent away. Because
that was my theory as well.
Like,
he was sent away for that
because he couldn't tell. Because we can't be saying Rhaenyra's kids are bastards because they have brown hair, and then I have a brown haired son as well.
Here's why I think he's got the Targaryen blonde hair. And I know the show is not above absolutely retconning. There's a whole remember the paltry conversation. I feel like that would have came up. Like Viserys would have said something to Alicent.
Yeah, like our own
what
son.
about yes, correct.
I mean, yeah.
Good point.
Unless they completely they changed up a few things since last season. Hopefully they don't do that. But
yeah. Yeah, we shall see. We have a couple more super chats. We have one from HOVU. Thank you. Do y'all think Aemond knows or suspect everyone else knows he did it? I think he knows everyone knows.
Not to. I think it's one of those things where it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I have the biggest dragon. What?
You know, it is one of those things though. If they even imprison Aemond, they're cooked. They're like, think about it. The beginning of the episode starts with what's his name? Jason Lannister not wanting to progress through the Riverlands without Vhagar. It all comes down to Vhagar at the end of the day. How frequently are Aemond and Vhagar simultaneously thrown around? Like, this entire war is contingent upon Vhagar and Aemond. Like, I think they know better than to accuse him. I think they know better than to imprison him, because they're done for if he's not out on the field fighting. And whether it's Aegon in his sickbed or Aemond at the small council, they're really serving the same purpose either way.
Agreed. I'd say before we get into the rest of these super chats, I kind of want to wrap up King's Landing and move over to Dragonstone for a bit. I just wanted to say I did like the fact that they had Ulf and Hugh in this episode in the riots. Also, Cheese's dog made an appearance. I liked that. That was really, really cool. Anybody else enjoy the dog?
Love
Is
the
it just
dog.
me? Did
I was
imagine
so
it? Did-
scared that he was gonna fucking. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't imagine it. I was scared he was gonna eat the dog too.
Me too.
I was like, no!
Don't do this to me.
It's just me.
Oh, it's just me.
No.
I mean, he said that about Bailey. That's his fault. But but I did like how that person put their hand on Alicent, and then she's like, sheath your sword, and the Kingsguard's like, what? Just drop it.
Is that the same one that ended up getting shanked?
I believe
to his
so.
demise.
As he should.
And that's
As
kind of what I was
he
talking
should.
about with Alicent when I say she's actually got a kind heart. And it might have been a shrewd mind more than a kind heart, but she was saying, like, I think she was a bit appalled that they cut off his arm. Like, she felt like that wasn't necessary. You know?
They're
And she got cut too a little bit, and she was
Can
bleeding.
we talk about how her and Rhaenyra now have matching scars, like tattoos, like BFF tattoos? They're gonna parallel the crap out of them.
They are so heavy. I'm just looking at the picture that Arah has on screen, and they are so heavy with the foreshadowing.
Oh,
Why?
on this one with the spikes
Why?
behind her.
Why?
I will say, all right, I have a question. I wanted you guys to.
I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing at Gray going, why? Why?
I want to kind of get your opinion on this question I have for you guys because I wrote it down. But Helena's clearly in a moment of extreme distress. Why did we not hear at least a screech in the background from Dreamfire?
Dreamfire just doesn't exist. I said that in my breakdown. Like, these are missed opportunities for Dreamfire. The funeral scene where Helena flips out. This, like, even if you just gave, like you did with Rhaenyra's birthing scene, where you just split to the dragon pit with Dreamfire flipping out, like, missed opportunities, man.
You know what
I think
just
just
thought
the
about?
sound, just the roar in the background, I think would have just added so much more to this scene, like so much more intensity to it. It's already intense as is, but just add that connection to it because it's like Dreamfire is such a legendary dragon, and
Okay,
it's
hear me
so
out.
underutilized.
Hear me out. Maybe it's not because y'all are always talking, but not I as well. We always talk about how the dragon, doesn't it kind of shares the same wants as the writer a lot of the time. Like it's not maybe it's just not Helena's want to cook King's Landing. I think like yeah, she's in distress, but I feel like if she were in I mean she was in danger, but I feel like if she was in danger, Dreamfire would have come. I don't think Helena really. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of this. Also, when I think about it, when Aemond was walking through the dragon pit in season 1 before he claimed Vhagar, I don't think that was Dreamfire. I think that was Seasmoke.
Laenor had already claimed Seasmoke.
Yeah, but Seasmoke had to have been in the dragon pit.
Not necessarily if they lived on
Seasmoke
Driftmark.
Seasmoke lives exactly like Dreamfire then. Maybe they're from the same clutch. I don't know.
I think maybe I would say Seasmoke's probably Dreamfire's baby, if anything, but that was definitely Dreamfire back in the dragon pit.
Well, I don't know. They're never gonna really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because apparently
we're not gonna see Dreamfire till spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 till
she dies.
Till she dies. I was gonna say till she flies up into the top of the Thunderdome, boinks her head.
Why you gotta remind me of that?
that whole
So-
scene just oh.
Can I just say my theory about Deanna being in the Shepherd arc is getting real strong every day?
Yeah.
Why? Okay,
Man.
what did Alinda tell Diana?
That Aegon sucks, buddy.
To
Food's
spread
coming.
tea. To spread tea in the taverns.
Okay,
Mhm.
I guess.
But I don't think that's all she
Oh.
said.
What were
I'm
you going to say,
sorry.
Kendall?
Oh no, I was just gonna say if you tell it to Off, that's like telling it to 20 people because he's a barfly. He's gonna hop around and spread that everywhere. So I think they knew exactly where they wanted to let that propaganda go.
Yeah.
It's a great person because know what I think about it? That other episode we had Olfin, what was he doing? Just telling a big old story in front of everybody. So
Yeah.
you nailed it.
Yeah,
No, that's exactly
clocked
why. They
it.
knew exactly what they were
is-
going for.
And that's exactly why we wanted you here, Kendall. Because we're
And-
just sitting here like, what was the point? What was even the point? And Kendall's like, here's a pretty logical reason.
There's also like in the trailer for the next episode, there's like some Targaryen black dragon propaganda being like nailed to doors in King's Landing. It looks like a gold cloak rips it off.
A what?
A gold cloak.
A gold
Like
cloak.
he rips it all. He rips it down. It's like
I
a
didn't catch that.
poster.
Good cat.
It's like a band flyer.
Speaking
Concert,
of
Friday
foreshadowing
night.
and black dragons, they
Oh, yeah.
love. I thought they were going to be subtle with it. Every time you see baby Viserys, he's got a little black dragon toy.
Yeah.
Actually, know what? Well, know what? Let's. We have a couple super chats leading here, so I think it's just a perfect segue.
Wait,
Right,
you
babe?
guys, wait. Totally off topic. I finally know where I've seen Jane Eyre from. Blew my mind. There's a show, I only watched the first season, but it was so good, called Raised by Wolves. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's the mother.
actress, she's
And I think
mother, and Alan, he's father. I couldn't. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, continuing to the Vale.
Yes. So we had a super chat from Raul Santiago. Thank you. I think, well, we have two from Raul, so I'm just going to do them back to back. I think that for the casual people watching, the whole Nettles Rhaena change is going to be a big thumbs up. I read the books and don't know how I will feel about it. However, I love the show anyway. And continuing on, even though I believe Nettles will not get cut, the app apparently, apparently the actress that plays Nettles was at the premiere. So
I want to believe.
this little, sorry, hold on, I went a little quick. When they were doing their little jaunt about and they saw all those burnt sheep and Jane Eyre confirmed a dragon has been lurking around.
The
Sheep
way she's like,
stealer.
oopsie,
Sheep
forgot
stealer.
to mention.
This was sheep stealer setup, no?
What if it's the cannibal?
I would
Let's
appreciate
just-
that. I would actually
What-
appreciate that.
I want to believe.
Unless
I want-
unless Alicia's theory is right and Nettles is just going to make an appearance on Sheep Stealer already. Like, and bring it on.
Like and bring it on.
Give me something for the pain and let me die. What the hell, bro?
Okay, but Arah brings up a point. If you are a show watcher, and I know this is blasphemous for me to even say these words. Let's just take Nettles out of the equation. That hurt me as much as it hurt y'all. Probably hurt me more. It's not bad writing. However, like Ryan Condal is supposed to be this super fan. How do you not have your thumb on the pulse in this fandom of how much Nettles is a fan favorite? Like, I will say, aside from the burned men, as much as I love Nettles, narratively, it's not like she doesn't make a difference, but it's not like this grand enough impact that she has to be in it. I'm still very angry that she's not. Does that make sense?
I
Okay,
get where you're.
Go ahead.
I semi get where you're going. Kinda. However, my thing is, if we're gonna get all this, first of all, now that they're tongue kissing and stuff, now that Mysaria and Rhaenyra are doing things and riding dragons and whatnot, if you're gonna set that up, it looks like she's gonna kind of be that nice little wedge between Rhaenyra and Daemon, like it's getting there. The whole Nettles, Mysaria, Daemon, Rhaenyra square thing happening. Like it's perfectly lined up. Like you lined it up. You lined it right up. Not only that, it does a lot for Daemon's character. I think what they're doing with Harrenhal is I think that's why they're doing all this Harrenhal nonsense to replace that. So I think I see where you're going with this, Alisha. I think they're merging it. I don't like it. If it's true, I'll be honest. I see the logistics. I just don't like it.
Right. Okay. So my whole thing, because when you were talking, I'm like, oh, what if Alice is kind of the new, like, not Nettles in the sense that, oh, she rides a dragon, but whispers of his supposed infidelity. But oh, now that we've confirmed that Alice is indeed real, thank you very much. I guess like what I don't love about it is Aemond has his whole little spiel with Alice, and granted, there's no more narrative purpose behind Alice and Aemond than there is moving along. Narratively, I can see how they would, I don't know, the whole thing is turning into a jumbled mess. Maybe not jumbled mess, it's just like as a book reader, you're anchored to source material. And you don't know how to like see things from a different lens. I don't know. Kendall, what do you think?
If I'm going to give this a generous read, let me first off, if we cut Nettles, I hate it. But if I'm going to give this a generous read, I think we haven't seen Daemon talk to his daughters since the young actors, right? Not since season 1. So I think what they're doing is setting up. Okay, now she's claimed the dragon. Now Daemon is going to accept her. Now you're going to have them riding through the Riverlands, hunting for Daemon. They're going to have father and daughter at maiden pool. So I get that. I just think you could have done some of that without cutting Nettles. Maybe just have Daemon have a relationship with his daughters. I don't know. It's right. Like I want to see where they're going with it. I want to give it a chance because, as you said, Ryan is a super fan, but I don't know. It does make me question where it's going. Not that Daemon and Rhaenyra riding around wouldn't be fun. It's just I don't know if it's at the expense of Nettles. I don't think we had to do that.
So,
unleash the gray. Unleash the gray. Unleash the gray.
That pause and then that so. I know what that means. Go ahead.
Heated.
So when I first watched the episode, I was loving the episode, and then when they got to the Vale, it really made my stomach hurt. Like I hate it, and it's the only part of the episode that I really don't like is the potential that it now does look like Nettles will be merged with Rhaena. And I've heard like there's rumors that this was going to happen, but there was also something that was posted a year ago that basically Miguel Spocknik wanted to give Sheepstealer to Rhaena, and George R.R. Martin vetoed it. They casted a Nettles, and apparently she was really bad, so they cut Nettles altogether. This is what this post is on Reddit. It's a year old, and it's seeming like it's true. So if it's out of Ryan's control, if like with the writer's strike, they couldn't go back and rewrite it. They had already kind of planted the seed in season 1 that Rhaena would claim a dragon because she has that conversation with Laena where Lena's like, that the half of them never hatched. That's not the only way to become a dragon rider. If you want to do it, you have to claim that right. So it's not so much. It's she's one of my favorite characters, and I feel like she changes Daemon a lot. And I feel like what you were saying, Arya, like they're kind of doing that earlier with Alice Rivers and Harrenhal instead of Nettles. maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're gonna bring Nettles around. Maybe that she will have the cannibal. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. But I'm just gonna separate the books from the show moving forward. And I'm just gonna appreciate the show for what it is and the books what they are. But yeah, Jackie C is right. Like George R. Martin put a blog post up with a whole bunch of dragon lore in it about dragons not roaming, and it seemed like he was mad. And I don't know. But if it seemed like, from what I read, it seemed like they were doing Nettles and then something happened with they couldn't do Nettles. So they merged her with Rhaena. And it kind of changes Nettles. It's definitely changes the whole story because Nettles was definitely Smallfolk. She wasn't a Targaryen princess. She, it's a completely different story.
Yeah,
So,
I wanted to just bring this other super chat from Ro about upgrade. I think this is a Cannibal or Nettles introduction. Yeah, they are so different people because I figure we're getting all this stuff with Ulf and Hugh. You guys got to throw Nettles on there. But again, we haven't seen Darren yet, so maybe it could be a little Delulu and hold out hope that maybe Nettles will show up next season. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know, but I do want to move on to her dad a little bit, to Papa.
Can I say, if they end up
have a super chat
putting Rhaena, if they end up merging Nettles and Rhaena and Daemon go on these little joy rides, they're not joy rides, but do you think they'll throw in some dialogue of her saying something about in the Vale they all
and he'll be like, in the Vale, then F sheep.
Like, yeah, the Vale sucks. It sucks.
Well, wait a minute. One more thing. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, so the whole big deal about the sheep stealer thing is she gives a sheep. So are they really about to have Rhaena given a dragon sheep?
Well, clearly he's finding sheep on his own. So that would
exactly.
be
so because like George said, they don't roam, so that's why she had to bring them sheep.
Like, yeah. So
anyways,
what I will say, one more thing I want to add about the Rhaena thing. So I get the episodes early. I can't talk about them before I get them. I don't know what's happening next week yet. I don't have that yet. But so I do talk about it with someone else that gets the episodes early. You guys probably know him, Joe Magician. And I was telling him how upset I was about the Nettles thing. And I was comparing it to Stoneheart, like how Dan and Dave cut Stoneheart. And he was like, it's not really the same. But to me, it is the same. And he gave me a bit of advice. And I'm just going to give this same advice back to you guys. Let's not hate it until we see what they do with it. If they don't do anything with it, if it makes the story worse, or they do nothing with it, or it goes nowhere and it doesn't fulfill, like Alisha was saying, it can still fulfill what needs to be done in the story. If it still does that, then let's just see what they replace it with.
I feel like I said something like that a few weeks ago when I said,
yeah, but we weren't emotionally there yet.
Well, you just said it.
You just said it again, and now we're here. Now we agree. Back then, we weren't ready to agree with it. Now it's a little.
You did say that. You did say that, Alisha. You were like, just let them cook. I'm just gonna let them cook, and we'll see.
I guess like my whole thing is Nettles is very important to the fandom in general, but especially women of color. And even though House of the Dragon does, feature quite a few characters of color, it's still a big disappointment to not see Nettles. Like, it's not about like, oh, we have enough Black people now. It's, or we have enough brown people of color, It's, yeah, but Nettles was still the OG. To me personally, it still means something to have her. I think it's
book
great.
canon.
I love that the Velaryons are people of color. I love that you have like all this going on, but it's still like Nettles. I want the OG. Me personally, I can't.
And I'm dying to see how
color, but
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You weren't done.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for other women of color, but for me, that was one of the reasons it was a big disappointment. I It makes more sense the way that you said it probably went down, which is like writer's strike. They weren't able to go back and fix it. Like the intention was there to have Nettles. To me, it's like, okay, if there was intention, I can calm down about this. It's just emotionally disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see how this plays out, because like all the sheep stealer disappears. We're supposed to have Rhaena in King's Landing with Aegon the Third. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
It's getting
Okay,
wonky. But can we I was gonna say, can we move on a little bit?
Yeah, let's move
Because we still
on.
gotta get to Harrenhal and Dragonstone.
Fine.
Sorry, but we have a super chat from Brian Holiday. Why do you think Daemon is crying after holding Viserys? I
Because
wish
it's
I
his
had these scenes.
brother.
All right, can I
It's
just
his-
say I'm so happy they finally gave this, brought back Patty Considine.
I called it.
So we were all saying, where is, if he's gonna see his mom, why is he not seeing Viserys? So I think I finally figured out what's happening here at Harrenhal, if it wasn't so obvious at this point. The whole point of this exercise was to get Daemon to stop running from his problems and facing his problems. Alice is just Rafiki. You can either run from your past or you can learn from your past.
And then she hits
And
him.
Daemon is Simba, and he got whacked in the head, and now he's finally dodging the stick. He finally learned his lesson.
Well, you know what else
And I think that's where we're
sorry.
at this. Sorry, I think that's where we're at in this episode. So him crying, holding Viserys is him doing what he felt guilty about doing. That's why Viserys, the first thing he says is the heir for the day thing. He's like, that was the worst day of Daemon's life. His brother just lost his child, kicked him out. And it's it's also the worst day for Viserys. I lost my wife, I lost my child, and I got to kick my brother out. He's finally seeing what it was like from Viserys's point of view on how badly he truly hurt Viserys, rather than him thinking Viserys hurt him by giving Rhaenyra his spot. When it's no, you weren't there for me. You only cared about yourself. I needed you. And he finally had that moment. And I thought it was really beautiful.
Two things about
Yes.
that. One, I cried a lot during these scenes because there's just something about sibling drama, sibling sadness in movies and television that just gets me every time. I love how it showcases at the end of the day, the thing that breaks Daemon is his brother. They just let no one say when it comes to Viserys that Daemon made selfish decisions. I mean, he did, but not on purpose. But anyway, second off, and I tweeted this, but I do think that Alicent or Alice Rivers either knows about the Song of Ice and Fire or something adjacent to it. I think she's extremely aware of, I mean, she dwells in Harrenhal, for God's sake. I think she knows Ice and Fire, all this other stuff, Targaryens on the throne, this is that and the third. I think she needs Daemon to stop pursuing the throne for selfish reasons because the realm needs to be united. And I don't know if it's necessarily oh, if you're going to go for the throne, be selfless. She wants him to make united decisions with Rhaenyra, if that makes sense. Yes, it's like you said, Arah, it's very much a Rafiki moment. But the purpose behind that is he was doing what he was doing for him, not the realm, not Rhaenyra. So anyway, moving along.
Yeah, actually, since we're talking about Alice, I think
who is real?
Alice, who is real, is not a figment of the imagination. When Alice mentions to him, there are older things in the world than you or I in living memory.
Oh God.
Yes. All I could think of, and she's like, oh, essentially, we're players on the piece of a board, more or less. So I think, I don't know, I'm with Gray. I think Daemon might get hooked up to a tree by the end of all this. I'm really starting to think Daemon about to be hooked up into a tree. This scene just made me like, Daemon in the tree. Confirmed. All right.
Guys, what was the point of that owl other than symbolism?
To look cool. To look cool.
She's a
She's so
ward.
cool.
She's a skin changer. I think she just skin changes an owl, so it's kind of like Oral's eagle, but she has an owl.
Also, Gray has a really great video.
Alisha, Kendall was about to say something.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just adding on to what you said. I do think there's going to be something up with that tree. They're having a conversation in front of the tree. She uses that same language again. She's having to wait 3 days and the winds will change. You always hear the winds when it comes down to like the heart tree symbolism and all of that. And just to go back to the Viserys point, and also to the Alice point, that was the first time I think we've ever heard him ask for help. When Viserys tries to offer him help, we see what he did. He went on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
He comes out and says, Alice, I need help. And it's like, oh, okay, now you're learning. And I think it ties into the Viserys scene where it's we see Viserys with Emma, and it's like, oh, look what my ambition cost me. And I think that's the lesson. One of the lessons Daemon's there to learn is not to have to be so ambitious, but just kind of, go with the wind. Just be patient. So I think that's what that scene was trying to convey.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, when she was like, Daemon Targaryen is asking for help, he's like, no, counsel. Like, it's the same thing, dummy.
He's such a Scorpio.
It's the same thing. But
it's not the same thing. It's two different words.
I don't like what they're doing with Daemon's storyline. So I don't like that they made it that Alice killed Grover Tully, and that's why Daemon has the Riverlands. It's not why Daemon has the Riverlands.
She just explicitly say, we didn't see her do it. Just like we didn't see Daemon kill Rhea, we didn't see her do it. So she didn't do it.
She did it, but I think it changed. Like, okay, books are books, show is show. It changes his character. It changes his character. He is a leader of men. He is a warrior. He's proven time and time again that this is something that he can do. It's his, like, our introduction to him is him forming an army in the Riverlands to fight with Viserys'
behalf.
Yeah, on Viserys' behalf of his claim. And then we have him do it in the Stepstones. We have him do it with the Gold Cloaks. So to say that Daemon needed this witch girl to kill Grover Tully in order to get the Riverlands is cray. I don't like it.
Okay, hear me out.
I actually liked it because she was like, she was giving him solid advice for an area that he doesn't live in. And all she said was, you need to get the Tullys on your side, because if you get the Tullys, everybody else is going to follow.
Well,
he would have told Oscar the same thing he told little homie.
Little Elmo.
Put this little pillow over him.
Yeah,
Make it go a little faster.
Okay, so hear me out. On the preview for next week, it looks like little.
I know what you're. Right? I know what you're talking about.
Isn't it really? Okay.
No, there is an Elmo. There is an Elmo, and there's a Kermit.
I'm pretty sure they didn't want to go with Elmo because anyway. Oscar comes to Harrenhal, and it still doesn't look like it's like an easy ride for Daemon.
Yeah. He's still gonna have work to do.
Correct. So there's hope for him yet. I think. I don't hate that Alice did some. Here's what I'm wondering at this point.
And I bet I'm wondering the same thing.
I love Sir Simon Strong. I love Simon Strong. I wonder if they're not messing with Daemon together. Because
I think
Simon is always there when Daemon has a vision. No one else. And it's I don't. They have plenty of cast and budget to constantly send in a servant or something like that. But Simon's just always there.
Alisha,
I
agree with you, because he even says that in the scene when he runs up on him with the knife, like, you
he didn't seem
and he's like, "Yo, just chill," like to his he's like, "Just chill, it's just the old castle," you know what I mean? Oh, he absolutely knows. They put him in a werewood bed, like they did that shit on purpose. I'm convinced. Like, y'all didn't have a different bed. Is he in on it? Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he's in it. He's a little bit too calm whenever Daemon's threatening him. He's always jokey. He's not really like fears Daemon, but not really. I don't know. Mm-hmm. He plays a little too coy.
Yeah. There was a part of me initially that felt like, oh, well, it's Harrenhal. He lives in Harrenhal. He's used to people going cray-cray. But he doesn't go cray-cray. You know, like, I think that look he gave Alicent last week when she was totally real and he was looking at her, I'm never going to let that go. Because I think he was wondering if she's up to her old crap. I don't know. They're both in on the same thing, I'm convinced. And I think it's for, reasons of just kind of like humbling him more than anything else, getting a merit of the man he is. Not a merit, giving a reading of the man he is, of his merit.
I loved Matt Smith's acting that in those scenes when he was like, "Was it your clubfoot nephew?" It was really good.
Oh, he was so mad.
Or Rhaenyra herself. But yeah, he killed that.
Yeah, he did. But I think his time in Harrenhal's finally getting ready to come to an end. But we did have some.
How do they? Spoilers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spoilers. How do they take Alice and then turn her into Aemond's lover after we've seen how she is this season?
How does
that happen? What are the mechanics of that?
Because she was getting on Daemon for his complicit, Blackwood bad actions. But Daemon goes and burns the whole Riverlands, which is even worse. So and she's proud of it too. She's like, I got his baby in my belly.
But I'm thinking she's gonna be more like of a Miri Mazdor character with Aemon, where she plots her own revenge on him, because basically Aemon comes to Harrenhal and kills everyone. Kills all the Strongs. Simon's gone. Dead.
I don't love that.
I'm so gonna be sad when that happens.
So I'm kind of wondering the dynamics of that and how that's gonna go. And if you guys have any ideas, love to hear it.
Forces himself physically on her. Unfortunately, like his brother, it seems to be a trait in the family.
I
don't want to see that, but like I can't think of her willingly doing it unless she's like doing it to sabotage him. But I really think he's going to be like, we think Daemon's going through Luigi's mansion. Aemon's dreams are going to be even worse.
Can you imagine the dreams that Crispin Cole will have in Luigi's mansion?
Oh, I can't.
Oh yeah, because I forgot.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Suddenly I will love Harrenhal.
It's gonna be great. Oh, I can't wait. I think everybody should take a trip there.
Do you think there's gonna be whole scenes? Do you think there's gonna be whole scenes where Aemon is like, "You looking at my girl? You looking at
her?" Probably. I feel like Aemon's definitely gonna see Luke. He'll probably see Rhaenys. He'll probably see Viserys. He'll probably have
bang his mom.
Yeah, probably that.
He'll bang his mom.
There'll be some stuff going on, and he'll probably see Jace too. T.
Do you think he'll have both eyes in his visions?
Depends when they are.
I like that.
I just got a vision of the Daemon with the eye patch on, and it just made me chuckle.
All right, he's so goofy. We did have some other super chats I did want to get to. This one from Jacob Carr. Thank you. 2 new dragon riders this episode, Adam and Missaria.
And now they kiss.
Okay, can I say, speaking of things
tension was so
heavy. I called it. All I said a few episodes ago was lesbians, but I still called it. Was I joking? I mean, it's
He
not
did.
that deep of a it's not that deep of a prediction. They kind of set it up.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah. Speaking of called things, I feel like Arah called why Alan shaves his head.
She sure did.
He's bald by choice, because he has Valyrian blonde hair.
Well, I will say there was a tweet. So
Called
Arah said it.
it.
Arah presented it first, and then I saw a tweet from him. He said that he had to keep shaving his head for production, and I was thinking about what Arah said, and I thought, and here we are.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes. I do want to get into the scene a little bit. Actually, I kind of want to get into all of, Adam, Alan,
And Seasmoke.
Corlys, and Seasmoke. Yeah. Definitely want to get into that before we really dive into Dragonstone to wrap everything up.
Dragon.
So Corlys comes up to his son Adam and is like, I want you to be my first mate. And Adam's like, is this a command or like, do you want me to be there? And Corlys doesn't seem like he knows how to answer. He's kind of like, well, I expect you to be there in the morning. But he also tells him before that, like, you've more than earned this. Like, there's other people that have, like, including myself, that have held that position before with less experience than you have. Like, you're more than qualified for this role. But Adam seems very like, I don't want your handouts. I'm sorry, Alan. Alan's very like, I don't want your handouts, but
Jon Snow, season 8.
I don't want it.
But then Adam's sitting there like, I wish your daddy paid attention to me.
Well, he's about to.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be able to miss you now, buddy.
Can we talk about Seasmoke? Seasmoke was giving champ energy. I'm just saying.
What a puppy.
It wasn't even he claimed Adam when he just dropped out of the sky right in front of him. I lost my fucking mind.
He was like, they're trying to put a darkling on me. I only like pretty Velaryon boys.
Oh God. He sneak attack. Okay, it's not that funny, but that was good. Who reminds me of last season?
That sneak attack was great.
Remember last season when Laenor comes in on the stepstones out of nowhere with Seasmoke?
Dracarys!
We were talking about M&M's, talking about some venom. That's what it reminded me of again. Just him plopping down venom.
M. Branch said Seasmoke and Cheese's dog, relentless. For sure.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Seasmoke's
just a big puppy. I loved it. I loved that scene with Seasmoke. Just the way it was just so playful.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's like, why are you avoiding me?
I would have loved to see a continuation of him, mounting Seasmoke for the first time. I think that would have been like, maybe it'll be in like bonus features, extras or something, but I'm sure it would be just as comedic as the chase.
Dragons cost a lot.
What is that which end of the Harry Potter movie it is when he's like on the hippogriff? Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh God, it had to take me a second. I was like, the movie with the hippogriff, Prisoner of Azkaban. When he's like, yay, over the water at the end of the movie. That's how I imagined this whole encounter ending, but it didn't go that way. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll say we do have a couple of super chats I wanted to get to before we get more into Dragonstone. We have one from HOVU. What was Helena predicting when she said the insect had stopped singing?
I personally thought it was Aegon was going to stop talking, like he was going to go mute. That's what I thought, but it's probably something way deeper, way better than that.
Now I got to sit and think.
Yeah,
Kendall, you have any thoughts?
I wrote down in my notes and I have nothing for it yet. Maybe in a future episode, but I have no clue yet.
I had it written in my notes too. I like your idea. I'm thinking of like, all right, so let's all live brainstorm. So it's looks like a cricket, right? Of sort.
They're
What kind of bug
crickets.
was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're in a cage.
It was
So it's a
giving
cage
Mulan.
thing, not singing. I'm trying to think of. Well, they're all kind of in a cage in their own making. In a
Why
way.
does the cage bird sing anyway?
That's exactly where my brain went. Was like, why does cage bird sing, but why does a cage cricket not sing? I'm trying to think of any bugs. Well, I know Helena likes bugs. I don't know. I got to think on this one. Oh, I wish I had a good, clever answer. Oh, let me sit on it.
I'm racking my brain as we speak. I'm trying so hard.
All right.
Hard.
While we're thinking on that, we had a super chat from Julian Kane. Maybe wait for the tides to shift towards the city. I'm assuming this is related to the boats from earlier. We also had a super chat from Raul Santiago. Thank you for the other super chat. Would you guys be okay with her riding the cannibal? This was in regards to Rhaena.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Sheep Sailor. What were you saying, Kendall? Sorry.
Yeah, much better change. You can still get the dragon and then still keep Nettles' storyline.
Yeah.
And then Rhaena gets like the meanest, most fearsome dragon. I mean, Vhagar's the meanest and most fearsome, but I mean,
still. Yeah. Debatable. I'm just kidding. That's not really that debatable.
Correct. It's correct.
It's
correct.
Quick question, you guys, and I want the chat to answer this too. Okay, I'm burning to know. You know how they were singing to Seasmoke to get Seasmoke to come out of the lair? Okay, if you were a dragon, okay, if I were a worm, would you guys still love me? Okay, if you were a dragon, what song would entice you to the bullshittery? Like if you were a dragon and they were trying to like lure you out and you didn't feel like it, what song would pull you out?
WAP. WAP would probably pull me out.
Mine would probably be Finito by Chief Keef because I can't resist it when it comes on. The minute I hear I start bouncing, I'm like, yeah, I'm a gorilla. I can't sing it without swearing a ton. So like, y'all catch my drift. It would probably be Finito by Chief Keef. That'd be my song. I mean, I'm like, hey, like,
the blue clerk said it would be Back That Ass Up by Juvenile.
That's a millennial right there.
Yes.
Kendall, what about you?
Gotta be like next episode, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Yes. That doom. I can hear it too. Like as soon as the beat comes in, and it's like, yeah, I'd come out. Yeah.
Can I change mine?
Yeah, you can change yours.
Mine was mid. Now that you guys have said yours, I would change. I would pick Notorious Thugs, Bone Thugs, and Biggie. That would bring me out. Just the intro would bring me out. You don't even gotta sing the words. Just the beat. Just the instrumental.
Wait, do we get
feel like mine is not like y'all's at all.
Hip hop, real hip hop.
I swear to God, no. All I would hear, all those dragon tamers would just start going da 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 da, and I'd be right there.
Baby.
Yes. They'd start singing Kiss by a Rose, and I'd be right there. Just saying, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up?
Good one. Good.
Okay, that one may or may not be my ringtone. As we speak, every time my phone goes off, people look at me and they're like, "Is that Seal?"
You have a ringtone? You are stuck in the 2000s.
First of all, I don't care. Listen, people have made fun of me so much, and I don't care. I love that song. Soothing. If I were a dragon, that would be the soothing song that would bring me out of the caverns.
I thought it was gonna be like an Aladdin song or something. So I'm proud of you.
Probably that too.
I'm so proud of you, Alisha. We did have 2 super chats. One from Julian Kane. Thank you. Simon knows not to mess with Alice's plans. Yeah, I think Alice runs that castle, and by that castle I meant Harrenhal. I feel like we kind of all agree Alice is the one in charge over there. A little bit.
She probably swaddled him or some crap like that.
Yeah, she probably breastfed him. She's 400 years old.
Oh my god, I should have thought. So Laris, when he says my dad thought somebody put some like bad magic on me, do you think he might have
Kendall
been talking
mentioned
about
that.
Alice?
Yeah, Kendall mentioned that earlier.
Oh, sorry, my bad. My brain just like reminded myself. I was like, wait. Sorry.
No, it was
No me.
yeah, he caught that one right there.
You're so
Yeah.
smart. I was about to bring my super regional accent out for a second, but I caught myself. I pronounced my R.
Math hall.
Anyways, thank you, Tammy. We have a super chat from Tam Hutchins. If I was Daemon, I'd be sleeping on the damn floor, and I would have left that cursed place a long time ago. Love to all you ladies and Kendall.
I'd have left too, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd have been out.
Well,
No
he
way.
is that determined. He is that, and that's the thing. Like the thing that sends him fleeing. Like where else is he gonna go? He's in the doghouse. They made that really apparent the moment he showed up. The ceiling's freaking dripping all over the place. He's been having these weird visions and nightmares. He stayed there. He refuses to apologize to his wife. He has nowhere else to go. But the thing that sent him fleeing was visions of his brother. I think
Got him
that's
to
what
change
haunts
his
him the
ways.
most.
Agreed.
He's like,
but
I can deal with effing my mom, but I draw the line
at hurting my brother's feeling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of hurt feelings, I just want to say we should have said this at the beginning. R.I.P. Stefan Darklin. Hated How to Be You.
Seasmoke played him.
He did.
He's like,
can we just agree?
Get on a ride. Psych. I think we should learn from this episode. Seasmoke is just a very playful dragon.
What was that, Kendall?
I did have a quick question for you guys. Going back to the song, I could be wrong. Was that the same song Daemon was singing to Vermithor last season?
Yes.
I think it was.
It is.
Okay, I thought I was wrong.
It is the same song, which makes me wonder, Daemon, why were you singing that to Vermithor? Because basically it's a binding song that you call dragons. So translated, it says fire breather, winged leader, but two heads to the third sing. The fires have spoken, and the price has been paid with blood magic. With words of flame, with clear eyes, I bind the three to you, I sing. As one we gather, with three heads, we shall fly as we were destined, beautifully and freely. So,
when do you think they came up with that song? Is it like an old Valyria song?
I heard it's a Germ thing for the show. Like Germ wrote it. So,
sorry,
that
Carla
song seems to have been the song that's been playing a while. Like
okay.
that's been their that's an ancient song.
It was just me. She was so off pitch. She was. Thank you, Carla. Thank you.
Carla would pick that up. She would pick that up.
If you guys don't know, Carla is an amazingly talented singer. So yes, Carla, that one girl was singing much louder than and she could teach one to this lady louder than the others. I was like, chill, girl, let's get playing.
But this is my question. I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
So they say, okay, to ride a dragon, you need Valyrian blood. You have Valyrian dragon masters right there that came with Aenar. These people came with Aenar from Valyria. They have Valyrian blood. Instead of looking around of Westeros, why don't they just do it?
What if they were just descendants of slaves?
But they would still be blood of old Valyria.
Yeah, last episode when they started talking about it, they started looking at the royal lines first. Like they didn't use the term dragon seeds, which I thought was weird. But
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And Jay says it in this episode too. Like when he's like, I mean, maybe we can keep looking a little bit more in the books. And she was like, well, Sir Darklin had like the best chances just due to was his grandmother or great grandmother? Was it? Oh, it was Ariana Targaryen. I was like,
oh yeah, you.
That's you. So Kendall, you're actually onto something because the preview for next week's episode, Jace is arguing with Rhaenyra probably about the dragon seeds because he's like, we're Targaryens. If anybody can hop on a dragon. So I think he's upset that she's letting common born people try to hop on these dragons.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could. You're right.
Also,
Because
did you
they're
guys
poor.
Yeah, did you guys notice there's a lot of tension with Rhaenyra and Jace building up? Like he is getting
The way
so
she
teenager
flew off and he's like,
hot-headed.
"Mommy."
Yeah, when Seasmoke burned Stefan
Sir
Darkling, yeah, Jace was like, "Mother." And he's like trying to pull her and she's like staring at him burning. Did you see the one dragon master cut his throat obsidian dagger?
Yeah.
I totally understand that because it's a quicker death than burning alive.
And that's the fact that he thought to do it so quickly too. Like Stefan has weapons to do that, but it has to be like a fail safe for them. Like it doesn't come with that, not like it's a hazard of the job. So they're probably taught that. Like if you're ever engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
Here.
Side note, I just like this comment from Ryan. Girl, Jace, we are desperate for riders. Like, yeah, boy, we can't be picky. But when I think about it, obviously, sorry. You jolly well show respect, JC boy. I agree. He's been getting real, like, granted, I was a teenager once. I got sassy with my parents, but my mom wasn't, trying to win a war. But Jace is right. I do think Rhaenyra is being very hard-headed about the Daemon thing. Like, very hard-headed about Daemon. Like, let's be honest. He's the only person outside of Corlys that has experience in actual combat. Now he currently holds your biggest dragon. Like, and he's your husband. Like,
but
I get her trepidations, but at the same time, it's kind of like one of you two stubborn mules needs to make up already.
Well, she's already sent what's his face?
Alfred Broom.
Broom. She's already sent him to Harrenhal. I think Rhaenyra's doing the thing that Viserys does, where like he's not going to entertain Daemon's madness.
But Viserys was going to entertain his madness, and Otto talked him out of it and lied to Daemon and said, "Oh, the king didn't want to come. He would never show up to this mummer's farce." Like Viserys would.
But he didn't.
He did not.
Rhaenyra did.
But Rhaenyra doesn't want to, but eventually we see that she will. She's going to fly to Harrenhal. We saw that in the trailer. If you watch the intro to this video, you see a dragon that looks just like Syrax flying past the God's Eye into Harrenhal. So I do think Rhaenyra is going to go there, and I think that Rhaenyra is going to have a moment with Daemon like Daemon had with Viserys, where Daemon's like, I know you needed me. I wasn't there. I'm sorry. He's not going to turn on her.
Oh, I agree. I wanted to bring up, you just made me have a thought, and it kind of ties into the super chat. So we've seen in the trailers that Syrax and Seasmoke come face to face. So I'm kind of jumping ahead, but at the end of this episode, they mention, Seasmoke was seen flying over Spice Town, and Rhaenyra is like, yeah, Seasmoke does that. It's its thing. But they're like, with a rider, I think, hold on. I want to bring up the super chat from Tara before I go into my thoughts. I love that Seasmoke felt the connection to Laenor in Adam and pursued him. Also that he pulled a mini Vhagar sneak attack. Bring on the penultimate episode.
I agree.
So I think Rhaenyra is jumping because she might think it's actually Laenor, because we don't know if Laenor died. Last thing she knows is Laenor rode his boat away. But I feel like that news is big enough for Rhaenyra to go to Daemon and be like, look, we just brought in another rider. Like, and I also need to come back.
So in the preview for next week, when they meet, she basically says, like, you are riding a Targaryen dragon. I can't remember her exact verbiage, but like, either who are you or what do you want? I think it's going to occur to her right then and there. Common born people can ride the dragon, I don't know if she's going to correlate that it is Corlys's son.
It's literally
per se.
Laenor's brother with Laenor's dragon. It makes sense. Like
Yes,
there's a familiarity. That
Yeah.
there's that there.
So I think that's where she's going to get the idea for the seeds. And I do think that like once the tide, I don't know. I think there might be a conversation that happens that she just decides in the same way that Daemon is getting to a point where he's coming around and he's putting his ego away. I think that something's going to spark in Rhaenyra where she realizes like it's at least worth a face-to-face conversation with Daemon. I don't want to say like she needs to put her ego away in this dynamic. I don't think she did anything wrong to Daemon, but I don't think it's it could be. I think something else happens that spurs her to go all the way to Daemon. Because if she has a bunch of dragons on her side, she doesn't need Daemon.
A little bit.
She needs you can't win the war with dragons alone. She needs an army.
Okay,
definitely.
Dumb thing to say. Let me just have a dumb moment. Delete it off the internet.
Sorry, it's already there.
I have them like 5 times in a stream. It's good.
Yeah. I also want to briefly bring up, we get this scene with Rhaenyra looking a little oh
sorry. I just read something and it's on Twitter and it says Seasmoke really said once you go black.
Oh my God. All right, y'all.
I forgot my mic wasn't muted and I busted out laughing, so I had to like this share.
No, that was beautiful. It happens.
Y'all are fucking terrible, bro.
All right, so Rhaenyra looks all Visenya-esque here. A little Visenya-y.
Cersei thought, I said I was going to bring it back around. I'm so proud of myself for not rabbit trailing. Anyway, how many times has Cersei been like, would that I was born a man?
Yeah.
If I were born, they wouldn't have put a sewing needle in my hand. They would have put a sword in my hand. I think Rhaenyra is having a lot of those thoughts, and also kind of I think the Mysaria scene and the stuff leading up, chalk that up to just the chemistry between I don't think that the two actors per se they don't not have chemistry. I'm just not like, but I mean like the characters in general. I think there's that part of I don't know what Rhaenyra's intentions are. It just reminded me of Cersei and how Cersei was like, I want to experience a woman because I want to experience what a man experiences. So I don't know, just those thoughts, those parallels. But I do think she's very obsessed with Visenya. So she's
kind of her daughter that.
Yeah, and she wanted, if her brother was going to be a girl, she suggested to her mom, we should name her Visenya. She reads about her a lot. So I think she's kind of cooped up and she hates that she can't go do something martial. She can't be a warrior, and Mysaria said just the right thing to her when she was leaving the library, like, oh, the look suits you.
Yeah, I think.
And then lesbians.
There was a super chat earlier. Oh no, you're fine. There was a super chat earlier that was asking about between Jace and Mysaria, and I think that was a really good point because they're kind of angel and devil on one shoulder. Last week, Jace comes up and says, "Oh, you're not going to model yourself after Visenya," and you have Mysaria in this episode saying, "Oh, that it kind of suits you," and it seems like she's kind of trying to find her balance in between that. I don't know if she knows what she wants because as soon as Mysaria tells her that she puts the sword down, it's like, oh, is this what I want? And maybe the middle path to that is Daemon. Daemon can be that, and I think it leads to that conversation she had about she's always wondered what Daemon's had. Daemon's always wondered what she had, and together I think they are that Visenya, as it were.
That's an amazing point.
Yeah, and then figure Daemon wields Stark sister too, which is like the real binding thing there as well. I would also say with Daemon in particular and Rhaenyra, they are two halves of a whole in a way. And I like that Rhaenyra did point that out, but I like the how you guys point out with like Jason Massaria kind of being that like angel devil, like opposing views. But with Rhaenyra, I think the draw to Visenya especially is Visenya was riding right next to Aegon and they got their throne. Like they got their throne. You know what I mean? They didn't have other people doing it for them. Like they went out and took it. And I think that's what Rhaenyra is kind of like. Her and Jace are both feeling the same way. Like they want to actually get out and do something about it and not just be cooped up all day. And I think them both being cooped up like that and having that hot dragon blood is why they're bickering so much with each other.
I think Visenya was even more of a warrior than Aegon as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think this scene is kind of exploring like, Rhaenyra's thought on like the gender roles in Westeros and how they put her at a disadvantage. She even says it like, Daemon was everything I wanted to be, and I was everything he wanted to be. And when she says that Daemon was everything she wanted to be, she was like, a man. I wanted to be a man. And he wanted to be my father's heir. And she says there are two halves to a whole. So I think I like it. I see where they're going with it.
Yeah. I also like that she smacked Lord Celtigar that one time.
Oh, she smacked the shit out of him. I was actually
She's
shocked.
like, learn your place. Like,
she
who are you
did that.
talking to?
She
I like
pimp
it.
slapped him.
He looked
No, she
like
did.
his feelings were so hurt too. What did she say to him? It's my fault that you forgot to fear me.
I should have did that to Alfred Broom for slap anybody.
Right. If you're gonna, because Bar Emmett doesn't really do a whole lot to agitate her the way that Alfred did. It's like if you're gonna have it in you, you should have slapped Alfred. However, she just lost Stefan. I think that hit her really hard. There was also, and I don't say this about Dany, I say this about the way that they portrayed Dany's character in the show. But the first time that Dany sees somebody burned alive by her dragon, and don't get me wrong, like she commands it, but the way the show portrayed her, like she thought it was this amazing thing. Whereas like Rhaenyra looks really horrified by it, especially that I don't know if she cared about Stefan per se, but she definitely held him in very high esteem enough to be like, hey, hop on this dragon.
I mean, they went to King's Landing together on their little secret mission.
Yeah. Oh, isn't he is he the Lord Commander of her Queen's Guard?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
He's been with her the longest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's I realized Daemon threatened him with Caraxes. Like, I will burn you for your disloyalty. And he was like, I am loyal, and got burnt.
Seasmoke is such a troll.
I do want to get into this super chat because I want to get ready for us to wrap up soon. From April, thank you. When you get to the kiss, do you think this sets up for a jealousy Massaria win if Daemon comes back and reconciles with Nira? Yeah. I think we're about to. I'm finally gonna maybe get my throuple since I didn't get to get it with Lena, Rhaenyra, and Daemon back in season 1. Maybe I'm gonna get it here. Maybe.
Wasn't that one of the rumors that was being spread in the books that Massaria took to bed both Daemon and Rhaenyra? Or am I imagining that?
I don't. I'm trying to remember that. I just remember definitely Lena. Lena definitely.
I'm pretty sure Massaria is like done with Daemon.
Yeah. Also, her revealing how she got her scar was very upsetting.
Extremely. I like the romance they're building between them. I just feel like maybe I know that they had to like, okay, have them embrace each other, and then that's what's going to lead to the kiss. Okay. I just hated that it was like her reliving one of the most like traumatizing moments of her life. And not only was it SA, but it was from her own father who mutilated her on top of it. And then they went in for the kiss. You know, I just feel like maybe they could have set up with something else. you know? Like, I just think that when women are reliving SA, the last thing they want is for somebody else to like, and it depends on the woman, but it just seems a bit crude to write in this woman talking about her SA, and then she's like, anyway, so physical intimacy. I don't know, I thought it was weird.
I kind of agree with Waifu that I'm not a fan of cheating. Like, I don't necessarily know if this is categorized as cheating, but
Rhaenyra
that
is
is
married, so
yeah.
In
And
the
that's
way to
she's
be
and it's with
queen.
it's with Daemon's ex.
Yeah. So
Okay.
technically, yes, but she's a queen, and technically they're allowed to have mistresses, or well, at least
Well, she
kings are.
can't
So
get
why not
pregnant
her?
by this one, so and that was okay.
Hey.
But here's what I will say: like, every couple is different. There are couples out there where I don't want to get too far into this. You know, like there are couples out there that feel like when it comes to a woman, girls don't count.
For
As
some reason,
cheating.
I feel
Some
like
do.
I feel like Daemon and Rhaenyra probably have orgies and stuff. They just give off that chaotic energy.
I mean, at least in the books they did. Kendall, how do you feel about the kiss?
Didn't expect it, but I think it does make sense for what they were building up to. I think with Alisha, if you had the reveal of the scar like a couple episodes before and just had something leading up to it, I think that hits a little better. But I kind of felt the same way. It felt a little off, coming right off the sexual assault topic. But other than that, I didn't really have a problem with it. I think it tracks with the story that they've been telling so far. And if you're going to take out the Nettles thing, then maybe there should be some kind of tension, jealousy. I don't know. It depends on where they go.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think
I
that
agree
will
as
be
well.
that's probably going to be a replacement. It's probably going to add tension. But I do think that like if Daemon walked in on this, he would be like, "Wow. Nice." Like I don't think he would care.
Without me? No, I'm just kidding.
Can I join you? I
Yeah.
really
She do you think there's a little part of her that was imagining it was Alicent?
Probably.
I'm pretty
of
sure
her?
they kissed. I'm pretty sure Alicent and Rhaenyra scisored, actually.
They were experimenting at
That's why Alicent
sleepovers
was
in the
so
Red Keep.
mad.
Yeah.
It's why Alicent was so mad.
Come on. Their
Yeah.
sleepovers were probably crazy.
We know they were. But speaking of
Do you think
sleepovers.
that's why
Oh,
Alicent is so pious? She's trying to pray the
wait.
gay away.
Oh my Alisha, I was trying to say happy birthday to little Liana, and you're
I'm
saying
sorry. Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm pulling that out. All right, so we got to get ready to head out of here. Anybody have any final thoughts that they want to talk about? Besides, only thing I had to mention is it looks like Alicent's touching grass next week, which I'm excited to see. But
I still think it's a dream. She doesn't do that. How's she gonna get out of the city when they want to like beat her up?
she could take the murder cloak and row a boat like everybody else, apparently.
Like she owns a murder cloak.
She can
Aemond
borrow
does.
her son's.
Like she would be caught dead wearing those rags.
Yeah.
She has
I don't
good
know.
stylish.
My final thoughts were I pretty much liked the episode. I loved my favorite part of the episode was definitely Seasmoke, Stefan Darklin's attempt to tame and ride Seasmoke, and Seasmoke giving him a fake out. I loved that. I love that. I loved the Valyrian singing. It was a really creepy scene. Yeah, that's my final thoughts. I want to see where these last 2 episodes are going.
Oh, this is probably good. Thank you, Jacob Carr, for this super chat. Kendall, I'll have you go first. Finale predictions. So we got 2 episodes left. What do you think we're getting?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what they've ended on, and the only thing I can think of, and I'm not sure, is if they take King's Landing, they'd have to shuffle a lot of stuff around. It's only 2 episodes, but I know they're gonna want to end on a bang. I just don't see what else there is. I'm dubious on the gullet, so I'm not sure. Maybe they take King's Landing and then do the Gullet season 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was my original thoughts was taking King's Landing and Gullet season 3, like just swap the order of it. That was kind of where I was going because I feel like we're kind of so if Kristen Cole's on the march to Harrenhal, Daemon has to be gone before he gets there, and they said it takes 2 weeks to get there. So if Kristen Cole and Vhagar show up in Harrenhal within the next 2 episodes, that means Daemon and them have time to kind of skirt around to get to King's Landing. But it's also odd because, they don't have Nettles. And she's supposed to be there. So, I think we're definitely going to get at least Ulf and Hugh the Hammer claiming Silverwing and Vermithor next week. They mentioned Otto's kind of been MIA. Nobody knows where Otto is. So I hope we see him by the finale at the least. Maybe end of next episode.
He's out fishing.
Yeah, he's probably out fishing.
Enjoying
but I think
his retirement.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they bring him back within the next 2 episodes. I'm assuming so. But yeah, I'm still going with, I think, even though the Gullet's getting me nervous, they're setting up the Gullet really heavy right now. So if it's not this season, it's definitely the top of next season, I feel like. Only because in the Vale, they mentioned, they accepted the letter to send the 2 younger sons and Rhaena away.
Guys, I hate Jane Eyre so much. I love the actress, but I hate her. Anyway, speaking of her, she was like, "Oh, you must be so happy that you're leaving because you hate it here." Anyway, I'll send some guards with you. But yeah, they're definitely setting up Rhaena not going with them to the Gullet, which means Joffrey's not at the Gullet, is he, in the books?
Just Aegon and Viz, the 2 younger boys. And she says the 2 younger boys too, because his dragon has to guard the Vale.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. He's staying at the Vale. Yeah,
Well, to the King's Landing.
It's like they're setting it up.
They're setting it up for Rhaena to send the kids by herself.
Yeah, for what's her name? Rhaenyra to be angry with Rhaena. And if she's angry with Rhaena, that could go in a direction that I don't love. I do think I love Rhaenyra's character. However, I do think she's going to not go mad. No. I think that War and Grief is gonna War and Grief is definitely going to change her character.
Elder sister, and I left you with your 2 toddler brothers, and you thought it was cool to leave them alone, and now one of them's dead. Yeah, I have every right to be mad at you. You were supposed to be babysitting. You can't leave the kids alone.
Catelyn Stark.
But anyways, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. So we'll wait till we get to the Gullet.
What I was going to say is, I think by the end of it, Rhaenyra will do things that is not quite in character with season 1 and 2 Rhaenyra, out of grief, and War is ugly, and I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
So I think the next episode we have the dragon I don't even know if they take King's Landing this season. I think they could take King's Landing. I definitely don't think they can do the Battle of the Gullet because the dragon needs to grow a little bit to be able to. But I don't even know what they're doing. What if they just don't even do the Battle of the Gullet? What if they do something else? Because they're changing things a lot.
Once I saw Stormcloud, all I could think to myself is, how is Aegon going to get out of that predicament? Because he needs to. He needs to be in King's Landing.
Yeah, unless the only thing I could think of is if Rhaena only takes one of them and they switch it, which would be, whoa, that would be bad.
What if Sheepstealer comes in to save her?
Plot twist: Rhaena flies them on Sheepstealer to King's Landing, and she drops one of them. Oopsie!
But don't worry, he's in the hands of somebody from Lys, and they're just gonna go take him and send him away for a little bit. He'll be back.
The Triarchy pirate with the blue beard catches him.
Go away. They come back.
Just catch watches a baby minute.
We're tired, guys. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, on that note, it's been awesome. I'd like to thank Kendall. We'd like to thank you again for joining us. Can you let the people know at home where they can find you?
You can find me at Night of Ice and Fire on Twitter. Like I said, hot takes, memes. I'll be there after the episode. Probably not tonight, so I'm gonna go to sleep. But yeah, you can find me over there.
Yeah, it was great having you. Great talking episode 6 with you.
It was. You had some really great thoughts.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes,
I
you did.
really appreciate it. I've been a fan for years, so like being part of the process is fun, fantastic.
You got to see my behind the scenes meltdown before we went live. Now you know how it all goes down.
I'm glad you got to come on. Did anybody change their ratings? Thanks, Ryan, for bringing that up. Anybody change their ratings on the episode? Still sticking with my what did I say earlier? Like 8.5, 8.6. Well, if I didn't say that earlier, I'm going 8.5, 8.6.
I'm going to knock it up a 0.5. So 7.5 instead of just 7 because you guys made some solid points. Actually, I'll give it an 8.
Look at you.
Growth.
So proud.
Growth.
It's that mantra. Kendall, what do you think?
Yeah, 8.5 for sure. I think Gray's point was astute. The show is the show, the book is the book. So I guess just adjust our expectations, and if we're surprised, we'll be surprised. But yeah, 8.5.
In the chat saying 9. Jackie C says 9 still. Ryan 9 for me. Mother of Maesters still an 8. Still a 10 for me. Kachel Walker says so. Overall, you guys loved it. What is yours, Alisha?
I don't remember what it was before, but I feel like I should stick to it. So I feel like I made a good choice in the beginning, whatever that choice was.
I think it was an 8.
I think so too. I think we're kind of all relatively within the same realm.
Yeah.
But on that note, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you guys next week for the penultimate episode. I can't believe it's here already. That was crazy. But all right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.